Sorry, y'all, I'm just trying to find the group. Here it is. All right. All right, here we go. Hey guys, it's another Wednesday. It's another Wednesday to be well, Wellness Wednesday. We're so creative. Y'all, I'm so excited because we have some amazing girls that are going to share their story tonight. And I love each of these girls for different reasons and in different ways. And I'm just so thankful they're part of my life and that they have agreed to share their story with y'all because y'all, it's really amazing. I wish we had just days and days to chat with these ladies because I just love hearing their stories and it never gets old because what we are sharing, what we have with health, with wellness, with financial stresses these days, you guys. What we have, people need. And every day, this is something that we are so thankful for. And so we love to share it with y'all. So sit back, grab a cup of hot cocoa if you're up north, and maybe a cold lemonade if you're in the South, I don't know, and sit back and listen to my sweet friends. First, we're going to hear from the beautiful Miss Elizabeth. She is going to share her story with us. So Elizabeth, share just a little about who you are and whose you are, all those kiddos, and share your story with us.
Okay. I love you, Lisa. Thank you so much. What an opportunity just to share. I am Elizabeth. I live in Missouri, and my background is actually I'm a registered nurse with Lisa, so I have a nursing background. And to be honest, I went to nursing school, learned all the things. But what I learned when I turned 38 and got involved with taking these supplements, but felt like I got a whole nother degree in health. So I was 38 and pregnant with my fourth child. I have 4 kiddos, and I was 12 weeks along and I felt terrible. I didn't feel good. I was lethargic. I knew I was pregnant, but I just felt awful. And a friend reached out to me and asked me about trying these products. And of course, I was like, can you take them while you're pregnant? And as I'm on the phone with her, I was looking up every ingredient myself. And I took them to the doctor and asked her, and she was like, sure, it's fine. There's nothing that's going to bother you. And so that kind of gave me the green light to start them. And I started the products, and within 3 weeks, I felt like someone took my 38-year-old body and gave me a 22-year-old body, and I was pregnant. So it was life-changing, transformational. I put my husband immediately on the products because, he was, of course, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, just try them, because he had lots of issues with sleeping and anxiety and stress and just his work, and he just wasn't sleeping. And so the two of us together completely changed our health. And looking back now, I just feel like I don't know where I'd be today if I didn't get a hold of the information that I've gotten with gut health and inflammation. I know for a fact I had so much yeast overgrowth because I literally would crave chocolate every minute of the day. And I thought it was just a lack of self-control. I used to blame it on myself. Like, I don't have self-control. I can't not eat chocolate. But that week was that 3rd week of my Plexus products. I've taken the triplex. It was my birthday. And I remember I turned down chocolate cake and I thought I was sick. I thought something was wrong with me because I would never turn down chocolate cake. And so I knew then it was like a light bulb moment, like this is actually doing something. So it was the best pregnancy. I didn't have any inflammation. I could keep wearing my wedding ring the whole time. My face didn't have any swelling. I didn't even have to get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night during my pregnancy. It was just, it's hard to describe it because the products were so transformational. So I immediately felt like the Lord said, just share them with anyone and everyone. And so people would just come up to me and just talk to me about their ailments and their problems. And it just became this thing where I was like, oh my goodness, I have tools to help you. Why would I keep these to myself? And so that is really what started my whole desire to share and let people know that there is another way to live. There's another way to make money. There's another way to really nurture our bodies in a way that is more on the offense and not just constantly like chasing things down. And yeah, that's my story. It totally changed my life, and I'm so thankful for it.
Oh my goodness. I love hearing that because with I only have two kids, and I had one in my 20s and I had one kid in my 30s, and completely different experience. My
Yeah.
body was like, what are you doing getting pregnant, and having a baby at 34? And I thought I was old then. But I wish I had Plexus when I was pregnant. I was going to ask, did you find that your recovery after having your fourth kiddo after Plexus, do you feel like it was a little bit easier?
Oh heavens, yeah. I mean, I had a natural birth with him, but I will say my milk production was in within 6 hours of me delivering because I had that pink drink. The moment I delivered him, I was like, give me my pink drink. And I was pooping and everything was just fabulous. I quadrupled my milk supply. I was able to donate all my milk to a friend who adopted a newborn. So it was just, I never ever skipped a beat. It was as if, I don't know, I can't describe it. It just felt so natural, and I felt like my son thrived immediately. And yeah, it was way better than my other 3 recoveries.
That's amazing. And especially when you talk about milk production coming in so quickly, we
Yeah.
know that, it's a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times it can be tied to your insulin production and things like
Yeah.
that, and your stress hormones. And so that's really great that you're able to do that and donate. It's amazing. And what's crazy is that the more kids you have,
Mhm.
usually the more stressful it is when you are
Yeah.
recovering, because you have an extra kid. Every time you have another kid, you have another kid to have to take care of, more toddlers and everything. So, of course, Beck knows all about that too. But Elizabeth, thank you for sharing. Oh, and one quick thing, you should
Yeah.
tell them are you completely done working as a nurse? I know you were one day a week for a
Yes.
while.
Yeah. I will say from nursing, I was working with a plastic surgeon. And so I was injecting fillers and Botox, and I was very enthralled in that for 15 plus years. I just retired a year ago, so I could full-time mommy and homeschool my kiddos. But I will say our collection of collagen and Joyome is 100% gold standard compared to the $189 bottle that I used to sell at Dr. Nyack's office. Because it is 100% the best products, the best ingredients. They 100%, they have the cell turnover rate. The collagen is transformational. When I don't have it, my skin does not glow as much as it does. And I share that with everybody. It's amazing. I was questionable at first. I was like, oh no. But then once I started using it and started really looking into the products, they are 100% worth everybody to try for 60 days.
I love that you mentioned that, because as nurses, we are skeptical of anything that does not come from a pharmacy, aren't we?
Yes.
Anything that's not created in a lab, we were trained to be skeptical if it didn't come from a lab. So I love that you love it so much. I love it too. So I love that. And you're the expert. So I love that. So thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing so much.
Love you.
Love you, girl. Wow, I love listening to her story. It's awesome. And you know who else is awesome? My friend Ashley. Ashley's going to tell y'all a little bit about herself. She's also in the medical field, but in a different way. She can share that. But Ashley, tell us a little bit about you, hon.
Hey guys, I'm Ashley Kaufman, and I live in pretty much Augusta, Georgia. Stay at the lake, which is over in South Carolina, but for the most part during the day, I'm all in Georgia. I have 5 children, and I started having children when I was 22, 26, and 27. And then I waited 16 and a half years and had my last little girl at 43 years old. And it was a really hard thing. I felt like, I had been able to deliver my children with no problem at all. And when I got pregnant with my last one, I started having a lot of joint issues. And I was getting really nervous because I totally did not expect to not recover well. But in the meantime, I had actually had a grandchild born 3 weeks before she came. And I started noticing that I was was getting very weak in the knees or pain in the knees, and I would want to sit down because I didn't feel safe carrying him around. So I was starting to get really nervous. So fast forward to delivering her, about 3 or 4 days coming home from the hospital, I started having excruciating pain in my knees. Come to find out a few weeks later, it was my patella tendons that were slipping off of my kneecaps. And there was nothing the doctor could do right away except for try and control the inflammation. So I started taking major anti-inflammatories and painkillers and all the fun stuff, and nothing was helping. So I'm a dental hygienist by trade. That's what she meant in the medical field. So I have all that medical knowledge as well. And I started listening to my friend Christy Doss, who y'all will hear pretty soon, and the issues that she had been facing. And I trusted her. I mean, I really trusted her. So, and she worked for my husband. So it was kind of like, where is her brain going with this? I was one of those little wallflowers that watched her, but didn't like anything, didn't comment, didn't anything at all. I was like, don't call on me. Don't reach out to me. I had been in MLMs and I was like, no, I am not. I'm just not even going to believe. It's just not anything. Anything that's too good to be true is too good to be true, right? That's what we think. So I kept listening. Finally, she kept reaching out, and I'm glad she did not stop. And it was just information that I said, you know what? What am I losing? What am I losing if I just give this 30, 60, 90 days? Y'all, 5 weeks. 5 weeks of nothing but the triplex. And I went back to my doctor, who I went monthly, and I came in with my bags, my bag of Slim, my BioCleanse, and my probiotic. And he came in the room, and I dropped down to a squat and came back up, and he looked at me and he was like, "Are you okay? Wait a minute. Your knees are like in pain, right?" And I said, "Nope, not anymore." And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I showed him my products. Y'all, he was dumbfounded. He really wasn't, but he said, I'm completely in shock. Y'all know my wife does holistic medicine, and I believe in this stuff. So if this is all you are taking, there is nothing in here that is going to hurt you, girl. Keep taking it. This is awesome. I was 1 month away from surgery. That's where I was with him, 1 month away from surgery. And despite everything we had tried, nothing worked but 5 weeks on triplex. And I was slowly coming off pain medicine, did not even realize that I was not taking my pain medicine. And guys, I got to run to my Marine the day he graduated boot camp on the tarmac because I was no longer in pain. And that was my only goal. So hallelujah, praise the Lord. That was all I needed to know, that there is no one in this life that should suffer from joint pain, from belly bloat, all the other things that I suffered with, because we have amazing products that truly heal and take away so much unneeded pain and discomfort that no one needs to feel like that ever. So needless to say, I shout it from the rooftop.
And you should. And you start talking about your Marine, get me all.
No,
I'm like cutting onions in here, somebody's
he's
cutting
home
onions,
now,
making
girl.
my
I
eyes.
got boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. He's home now.
So glad. Well, and what's interesting, when you told me that story about, how you couldn't get off the ground without like tearing up because you hurt so bad. Imagine, what if you knew then what you know now. I'm sure you would have started sooner, but I'm so glad that you are able to have such a great story, because imagine if you hadn't have started with all these amazing, beautiful, lively grandkids that you have now. Imagine not being able to get out and play with them and get on the floor and play with them. Imagine.
I keep most all of them, 4 mostly during the week, 2 on occasion. And it would totally take my breath away if I couldn't run around and play with them.
And, so many people think, well, I'm just going to wait until I have to have surgery, or I'm going to wait until, something, really gets my attention to where I have no other choice but to do this.
Yes,
So imagine if we could all do these more preventative things, but we weren't trained to do
exactly.
that. We were trained to address the problem when the pain comes. That's what we were trained to do.
100%. I mean, the fact that I did not have to go through knee surgery at 43, almost 44 years old, that's too young. That's way too young for some kind of surgery like that. So no, I felt very blessed. I had prayed for a long time for God to just deliver something to me, and I didn't know what form or fashion, but
And he
that was
delivered
it.
Christy to you. I love it.
All the time.
Ashley, thank you for sharing so much. I look forward to seeing you next month, friend.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much. Love you, girl.
Love you, girl. Oh, y'all, can y'all imagine? I mean, not being able to get on the floor with your babies. I just, and your grandkids, I'm just a big old sentimental sap anyway. And normally I'll cry just about anything, but not being able to do that is something that so many people just take for granted. They really do. It's the people that aren't able to just have that one-on-one time with their grandkids. I don't know what I would do if my parents couldn't do that. So that's really special. So, okay. Beck is our next guest speaker. And if you don't know Beck Murray, you just need to go and follow her on Instagram. I cannot, Life Freed Life. No, that might be Elizabeth. What is your Instagram?
It's just Freed Mommy.
Freed Mommy.
FREED. Yeah.
Okay. Y'all need to go follow that because she's hilarious on the gram. She's so funny. She does all these reels and something I need to get going on, but she's so funny doing all that. And anyway, and she does some beautiful hair. So if you're in Missouri in her area and you need your hair done, you go see her. All right. So Beck knows a thing or two about kids and about teaching these young minds. Today, she got a head start on all of these homeschoolers that have turned mom to homeschooler here in the last, 18, 19 months now. She's been doing a good job at it. So Beck, tell us a little bit about you and how these products and business have changed your life, girl.
Awesome. Complete. Tell that this business is completely doable. Wherever you're at, you can have the opportunity to make money from your phone just by sharing your story with others. I have my name tag on for you just in case you guys need to know my name. I actually just came out of church, and so I was working there. My son is driving me home right now, and praise the Lord for teenage drivers. Hopefully if they don't know how to drive. He is a great driver, so I work all the time in this seat. It's fabulous. But let me tell you a little bit about me. I didn't start working here. In fact, my husband was a police officer, and I used to have to clean other people's toilets for extra money. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't even enjoy cleaning my own toilets. So cleaning other people's toilets is just not that much fun. And you never know what you're going to find. The worst was the black curly hair at this one. I mean, it was bad. But anyways, I'm going to plug in because my phone says it's dying. What I have to tell you is this. I had prayed for a long time for my son to be well and for my husband to have a different job. And the Lord answered through Plexus with helping to heal my son's gut. He was hospitalized 4 times in 1 year, in 12-month period of time, for his chronic constipation. And he would get so constipated, they'd have to do NG cleanouts, and he would just be really sick and in the hospital all the time. And their solution was Miralax. And if I can get anyone's attention tonight who has a kiddo or who themselves or a parent, they also put geriatric people on Miralax like crazy. I'm telling you, run, because it's not meant to be in our body. And the reason why I say that is I have a dear friend who I actually played soccer with in college who married a biochemical engineer who designs drugs. And he found out that our Caleb was on Miralax and said, you need to call her right away and get him off of that. The reason being is at the time, they had not even done any pediatric studies for Miralax.
And even so, even for adults that are on Miralax, they make you stay on it way longer than you're supposed to. The bottle says 7 to 10 days for a reason. What it does is not anything pretty for your body. And our son was actually dealing with pediatric depression, and juvenile depression is what they called it. And it was just a really rough time. Comes Plexus. I hear about it from a friend who had ulcerative colitis, and she said, hey, I know this is completely opposite of what Caleb has, but it's working for me, and I really think it will work for him, and I really think you should try it. So I definitely looked at all the ingredients. I love science. When my husband was a police officer, dug into every bit of gut health science that I could get my hands on. I read medical journals. I read about other people's colonoscopies. Okay. That's what I did for fun at night until like 3 a.m. while he was working nights. And so I read all about it. And whenever I saw that on the BioCleanse, they had every single ingredient that I had been piecemealing together to try to give him, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. They had it all in one bottle. I knew that they knew what they were talking about. I knew that they were scientists that actually understood how the body absorbs different minerals and different vitamins. And so I gave it a shot. Caleb has, let's see, that was 7 years ago. He hasn't been back to the GI since, other than his follow-up pictures, his endoscopy and colonoscopy that we did to see if his stomach had been healed, because at the time he had 90% ulcer in his stomach. So basically a bloodbath of a stomach. The doctor said that if you or I had that, we would have, we'd feel like we were having a heart attack and wouldn't be able to get up and get out of bed. And that was just normal for Caleb. So it didn't even bother him. But we went back for his follow-up, and his stomach was a pretty pink. Everything looked good. And all we used was Plexus. So I have pictures to prove it. And I tell you, that's one of the things that they're like, well, you can't really tell because it's on the inside. Well, I literally have pictures to prove it. And I just got to say, they're pretty. So that is how I got started. Then what happened is I had a bunch of other moms that we were all in this network together trying to get our babies healthy. We were Moms Against Miralax. We have a Parents Against Miralax page in Facebook that has grown tremendously. It's like over 3,000 people now, I think. And at the time there was like probably 20 of us whenever we started it, and we were like gung-ho. And all of that to say, once people started hearing about how Plexus was helping Caleb, my business began to grow. And quickly I learned that God was using this as our way to get Scott out of police work. So after 1 year, we paid off all of our debt. 2 years in, I retired my husband from police work, and we started Plexus as our full-time income. And we sold everything, bought an RV, traveled the US, had some fun, had a great time because we weren't tied down to a hospital. And my husband wasn't tied down to work and missing family holidays and all of the things. So when I made my name Freed Mommy on Instagram, I literally meant it. I feel so much freedom because of what the Lord, who gives true freedom, has provided through Plexus. So I'm very, very thankful for this company. It is completely life-changing. Not to mention that once we got Caleb healthy, I realized that really I needed some good help too. And I feel so much better now myself. So thank you for hearing my story.
Oh my goodness. Beck, you've told me that, and I've read, you and I have had conversations about your son and about your husband, but just hearing that gives me all the feels, because if we can help our kids, because we know when something's not right. And so when we can go and we can petition for our kids, and we can go to battle for our kids, so to say, as far as helping them to feel better and helping them to live the life. As a kid, just to be a normal kid, he didn't even probably know what he didn't know about how he was supposed to feel. So that gets me right here. And I'm so thankful for the police officers. I'm so thankful for those that are out there protecting us, and the families that let their spouses go. to work and protect us, but and we need them, and I'm so thankful for them. But I'm so thankful that yours has been able to come home and be able to do something that is more aligned with his passions, with his business. And so I'm so glad for that for you.
Yes, it's been a real blessing. We love our brothers and sisters in blue for sure. And that was one of Scott's favorite careers that he's ever gotten to take hold of and be a part of. And God made him to do it for sure. But in his years that he was a part of it, he did experience a lot. We hear a lot about our Marines, and we hear about our servicemen and what they experience overseas. And I think a lot of people don't realize what it does mentally also for police officers that are in high crime areas. It's really tough. So for his spiritual wellness, I am thankful that the Lord provided Plexus, to take that space, and now we love on those that we can that are a part of it. But it's a really good thing for him to be done now.
I know. And we appreciate his service in that season for sure. So thank you for sharing so much. I love hearing your story, and I love any chance I get to just look at your cute face.
Wow.
Thanks, Carol. I love you.
Love you too.
All right. Okay, you guys. So sweet Christy, y'all. Okay, so I have known Christy the longest, and how many years has it been? 26?
I don't know, I've lost count. Yeah.
27. So Christy and I met in high school 1,000 years ago in Fayetteville, Georgia. So shout out to the Braves and the Georgia Bulldogs and all my Georgia Peaches. And so shout out to them. So Christy, sweet friend, tell us about who you are, whose you are, and about your beautiful new house that I cannot wait to see next month. I'm so excited and I'm so happy for you. What a dream. If y'all don't know Christy Doss, y'all go follow her and look at her beautiful home that she has just built. It is just, I was going to say it needs to be on Southern Living, but that's not even nice enough. Like Architectural Digest, like I don't even know. It is a beautiful home. Y'all go check it out. It's gorgeous. And I'm so happy for her. So Christy, tell us a little bit about you.
You're so sweet. No, I've always adored Lisa. Like, we used to sit next to each other in anatomy and physiology, and like she gave you her senior picture, and I was so proud of it, y'all. Like, because she's a year older than me. And anyway, long story, but like I've always thought so highly of her. So y'all are just, it's a treat to know Lisa. But my story, okay, so I have two boys. One is 13, about to be 14, and one's 10. In Georgia, and I'm a retired hygienist. I've been retired for 4 years now, thanks to Plexus. Really, my story boils down to I suffered with horrible allergies my whole life. Growing up, my mom didn't want to get me tested. She didn't want me to have to go through all the pricks and all the whatever they had to do, and so I just struggled. Like, I remember in class growing up, just with Kleenexes in my hands, like just all the time, and literally. I just, it was just part of life. And then as I got older, I started having really bad acne issues. I mean, just horrible, where they were cystic, starting to, make scars. And so I was put on Accutane, which is a really, strong acne medication. Oh, awful. Really dried me out, just totally threw my gut out of whack, and didn't realize that until later, because I had allergies as a child, but I did not realize that all this other stuff was stemming off of everything that I had been on, from, any kind of, the Accutane, from whatever sickness I had. I was on antibiotics growing up. So all of that stuff just was building and building, and just, I kept getting sick. When I was in college, I stayed sick. It was awful. I always had sinus issues, UTIs constantly. I mean, I had cranberry juice in the fridge. Like, it was so bad. And even with that, I still continued to get them. I mean, if you've ever had one, I want to give you hope tonight, because, oh my goodness. Okay. So Lisa, so I knew her from high school, but I kept up with her on Facebook once Facebook was a thing. And so I noticed she started sharing about this pink drink, and I'm like, okay. Like, I just kept seeing her post, and then she shared her testimony about how much it changed her and helped her with her sinus infections. And I'm like, okay, what is this pink stuff? Like, what is this Plexus stuff you're talking about? And she shared with me, and I was game, y'all, because I tried everything. I had been praying just like Ashley, you know, I had been praying for answers. I'm like, you know, there's gotta be, I should not feel like I'm, you know, way older than I am. I should not be exhausted all the time. I should not be sick all the time. I mean, I was always on antibiotics. As soon as I got off of antibiotics, I needed another one because I was going, they even told me at one point at the ENT that, because I started going to, you know, different specialists, they told me that, you know, look, your white blood cell counts, like you should probably get that checked. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna, like I said, I prayed and prayed and prayed. I was at my last, you know, resort. Lisa was a godsend. I mean, I know he put her in my life at that time, at that moment, because I needed something to help me. And literally, like, long story short, I tried the products. I started feeling changes within the first 4 days. I had energy. It's like the sun came out. I could see the brain fog lift, and I had no idea I even had. There's probably a list of 50 things that are no longer there thanks to Plexus. So like I said, just by her sharing, it's just a ginormous blessing. And on top of help, y'all, I haven't had a urinary infection in 6 years, ever since I started Plexus. So y'all, this is life-changing stuff, and all the stories, I mean, have me teared up, just like, because I know how life-changing they are and how life-changing this is, and even financially how life-changing it is, to be able to be present and be full-time for my kids. Like, I'm just every day thankful. So like I said, it's just totally transformed my health. And I just am forever grateful, but that's the long story short of it.
No, I love that. Whenever we are able to find ways to, like you said, like the clouds have lifted, it's almost like your brain fog. It's almost like I think for a lot of us, I would dare to say for a lot of us, that for most of us, that we come to a place where the light bulb moment kind of comes on, and we're just like, why didn't I think of this before? Why didn't somebody tell me this before? Why wasn't I trained this way? I think that most of our parents probably fall into the category of, you know, food coloring is okay and sugar's okay. You know, you're young, you'll just run it off. You know, you have a high metabolism when you're a kid, or if you're sick, antibiotic. If you're constipated, Miralax. If you're, do you know what I mean? Like, and our parents didn't know what they didn't know, you know? And so it really set up the perfect storm to where when we became adults, all that damage that had been done for decades really started catching up with us. And we just figured, well, our friends are sick, our friends have UTIs, our friends have sinus infections, you know, and we just thought, well, it's just normal. So I love that we can share this with our kids too, our families, our spouses, because whenever we're all well, that's when the true light bulb starts going off, and we're just like, we're all well, and everyone around us is not. And we used to be like that, you know. We don't have to live like that anymore. I wanted to ask you something, Chrissy. Do you find that whenever, if you do get a little, you know, sniffle or a little touch of something, do you feel like it's not as severe and you can heal a little bit faster, or like recover a little faster?
Yeah, like, I mean, what's amazing is, okay, so Triplex plus X Factor were like my go-to, and every once in a while I would take a Claritin, but ever since I added E's, 2 E's a day, nothing. Like, literally, like, life-changing, adding the 2 E's with Triplex and X Factor. And I take 1 Omega X a day. I don't know if that, but I know that E's was a game changer. Literally nothing. It's amazing. So.
Yeah, Ease is really, I think that Ease and BioCleanse, probably both, are very underrepresented. I don't think that they get enough credit for the wonderful things that they're able to do. So the Ease you guys she's talking about is turmeric, is one of the main ingredients in there, and that's a huge natural anti-inflammatory. Turmeric, or turmeric, some people call it. It is it's a real big buzzword in the last several years, and you can just buy it straight over the counter, but the quality, you have to make sure you're getting a good quality one. I dare to say that ours is probably the best, but it's great for any kind of inflammation. If you're sick at all, you have inflammation in the body. If you have a sinus infection, inflammation. If you have asthma, inflammation. If you have skin issues, inflammation is in your body. You know, and Beck was talking about things that you can't see on the inside. Well, how do we know if it's really going on? You have inflammation in the body if you are sick at all. If you have joint pain, if you have discomfort, there's inflammation. And so, but you know, taking the turmeric, which is in the E's, and that's an amazing opportunity that we have, to add that to the things that we're already taking. But don't discredit the value that you're going to get whenever you balance your blood sugars and you get your gut healthy. That's why Christy said she added the turmeric, because it's on top of the work that all those products had already done. But it is a great product all year round, but especially if you start to get a little, get sick, or you start to, if you start feeling sick, you definitely can add it. It's really good for us. So, Christy, thank you for sharing. I love hearing your story, because things that, I know that you dealt with, the UTIs and the sinus infections and all that. And honestly, I did too. And I thought that was just normal. I was taking steroids and antibiotics all the time, and I was so sick all the time. I could not believe that I talked myself into believing that was normal. So, I mean, all the quality of life, all those years of just all that suffering, I can't believe that I just endured it. I didn't know any different. So, but now we know better and we share better. So when we know better, we do better. So that's what we're doing. We're passing the info along to the rest of y'all. So thank you, Christy, so much. And I cannot wait to see your house next month. I'm so excited. So that's going to be so fun. So y'all get ready for picture overload on my part on that. So thank everybody for sharing. Thank you guys at home, for coming in and hanging out with us. And we are so happy to share our stories any way that we can. If you have any questions for us, put it down in the chat. We'd love to come back and answer them for you. And if you are watching this live, or if you're watching a replay on the Healthy Starts Here page, let me know the answer to a very important question that's going to come up here in just a couple of weeks. Thanksgiving is going to be here before we know it. Is it dressing or stuffing? Which do you like? Tell us in the comments. So y'all have a great night, and we will see you back here, same time, same channel, for Wellness Wednesday. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.